Let's get started. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. Today, we're here to discuss on circular economy and the different models to achieve that. I'm Pierre Lorenzo, founder of Climate Leaders Fast Track, investing in cutting-edge climate tech with a software angle. I'm also the head of Top Tier Impacts, and for Europe and for France, the international community of investors, entrepreneurs, corporates, and experts. They're all working together to solve those critical issues of our time, and I'm delighted to introduce you to our topic of the day, from linear to circular, reinventing systems. As you know, the economy was pretty much built on a current linear economic model, take, make, dispose, that's just unsustainable. And the circular economy offer a very different alternative to design out of waste, to keep material in use, and to regenerate natural system. This shift is not just good for the planet, it's also the opportunity for innovation and for different business model, and as well as for long-term creation. Innovating the circular economy is a challenge because people have to change their habits, and an opportunity at the same time. During this webinar, I'll be privileged to have Gina moderate the panel to hear from 3 inspiring speakers and leaders who are at the forefront of this transformation. That includes Giulia Ziino, co-founder and CMO of Circular Place, who is leveraging digital tools to enable circular business practice on equipment goods. We also are proud to have Celia Rennesson, co-founder and director of the Réseau, Vrac et Réemploi, the Federation of Reuse, championing reuse and bulk distribution in France. We're also proud to have Camille Greco, co-founder of CrushOn, innovating in circular fashion and consumer engagement, how to change the behavior of consumer and not just B2C people. Over the next hours, we'll explore their journey, their challenge, their solution and vision for a circular future. There will be also time for questions at the end, as I mentioned, so feel free to submit them in the chat throughout. On that note, I'm happy to pass the mic, the virtual mic, to Gina, who will be moderating the webinar. Thank you very much.
Yes, hi everyone. So just to do a quick getting things started, I would love to welcome everyone and also invite you to put in the chat where you're calling in from. From our registration, we had over 10 different countries that are joining us today, so I'd love to see where everyone is calling in. Other than that, like Pierre said, if you put any questions as well, like we'll be checking all of those and have all of that at the end. And for now, I would love to hand it over to our speakers and give them a chance to introduce themselves, starting with Celia, moving to Giulia, and then ending with Camille. So I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Gina. Hi, everyone. So I'm the co-founder and director general of Réseau, Vrac and Réemploi, who is the leading French industry association dedicating to scaling up reusable and refill solutions for packaging. We support over 500 members, from retailers to reuse operators, by driving policy, building standards, and accelerating market adoption through events, tools, and pilot projects that I will present later on.
I'm Giulia. I am CMO at Circular Place, and we help companies reuse underutilized assets to better manage them, to save money and avoid carbon emissions.
And hi everyone, last but not least, I'm Camille Greco. I'm co-founder of CrushOn, which is a B2B marketplace that connects professional suppliers, second-hand suppliers on the textile industry, to brands and retailers that are looking to develop their second-hand offers, both online and offline. And I'm also co-founder of the Circular Fashion Federation, which is a French federation that gathers all the actors of the industry on the whole cycle of the whole life cycle of the garments. And we created this federation 2 years ago, and we have already 250 members that are engaged next to us.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you guys. So to start, I would like to first off highlight some of the work that Celia has just recently done. Just this past week or two in Paris. She was helping with the Reuse Economy Expo, which is quite exciting. So first off, I'd just like to let the audience know about what she's been up to. But specifically for your question, we wanted to ask about the main challenges and opportunities that you have found when scaling up reuse and bulk models here in France.
Alors, right when we created the association, there was nothing. There were no legal framework, no association, no professionals that were well identified on this subject of reuse and bulk packaging free sector. So the first thing that we did was to dig up and create this legal framework that didn't exist. Because if you want to develop a market, you need to have clear legal guidelines, clear also professional guidelines to know how to develop your business. You need to know how and where you can develop your business. And that was we really felt in France. So we created that and we worked closely with the legislators and the government to introduce in the French law some articles that defining what was bulk selling without any packaging, because it was not existing at the moment in our consumer code. Everything was done for single use and packaged good, but no packaging free. So we did that to install a clear legal basis, and then we also took the opportunity of another law in France, which is climate and resilience law, to put some objectives also. We wanted the targets to achieve in order to develop bulk and reuse. That was the first things we did. And we finally created amongst that tools and events and projects in order to accelerate the development of the market. Once we got the legal basis that we are still improving and that we are monitoring closely, because you need to have laws, but you need also to enforce them and be sure that they are applied, controlled, and respected. We also thought that we needed to empower our members with tools and events so they could accelerate the development of reuse in their activities. This is how we created concrete initiatives like the one you just said, the Reuse Economy Expo that we held last week, and that brought together thousands of public and private stakeholders to accelerate deployment. We also created the Reuse and Refill Month, which is a national event that this year go through other European countries. They joined us in this event. It enables to engage consumers nationwide every March with concrete festive reuse actions. And also we are taking part in many projects that are organized with different stakeholders in order to have concrete proof on the field. The main challenges we have now, it's two: political instability and economic pressure. It's difficult. As you noticed, we succeeded in settled a good legal basis in France that a lot of countries envy us. They say you're lucky you have this AGEC law, anti-waste for circular economy law, you have this climate and resilience law, and we do not have that in our countries. However, due to political instability in France, it's difficult for us to maintain consistent political support or to ensure enforcement of these existing laws. For example, many large restaurants still use disposable dishware despite the legal ban. And the government has really difficulties to make enough controls and enough financial, I'm losing my word anyways, and to make to sanction these players. The other challenge we are facing is the economic pressure. In these times of inflation or crisis, we notice that companies often deprioritize transition efforts like reuse in favor of short-term gains. Those two things that are kind of external challenges are really troubling for us. But despite that, we remain proactive with the events that I noticed and a lot of working group that we do. And there is a major reuse deployment project for household glass packaging that is coming next week. And we are part of it with our EPR, with our PRO CTO, and it will be launched next week. And we target 30 million containers to be reused in 4 regions in France.
Then a quick follow-up. So you've mentioned all of the regulation that's being put forward in France. Do you see a future where other countries, even outside of Europe, are going to hopefully like replicate this?
At the Reuse Economy Expo, we had the chance to have the Circular Economic Commissioner, Jessica Roswell, who said a word to us saying that reuse is really to be prioritized over recycling, and that there is the coming Circular Economy Act in 2026 that will be drafted soon. And so she encourages many stakeholders to take part of it and to give our comments and intels to feed this coming text. So this is really good. Luxembourg was supposed to have very powerful law for reuse, but we just learned 2 days ago that they are removing it because they thought it was maybe too ambitious, or maybe they received pressures from lobbyists that didn't want reuse to prevail.
Yeah.
So that are the challenges, but maybe, but we saw also a lot of opportunities regarding reuse in France. What we saw, and especially that was really tangible at the Reuse Economy Expo next week, is that companies, they want to move. And we feel really this momentum. We have, like I said, a strong legislation foundation in France. We are lucky to have it. So now for us, it's really time to implement, to demonstrate impact on the ground, and to shift public perception. At Réseau, Vrac and Réemploi, we really support the ecosystem every day. We never forgive, with tools, events, lobbying, and connection to scale up reuse where it matters the most.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Now I have a quick question for Giulia. Actually, I'd like to also point out that Giulia is joining us from another conference in Italy. So she has really been putting in the work, and we are so excited to take a moment of her time. So
I'm very excited to be here. I hope you can hear well. There's a concert right behind me.
No, you're good. We hear you fine. So my question for you is, how does Circular Place use digital solutions like AI to help enable the practices among businesses, especially as a software as a service startup?
Yeah, so at Circular Place, at first, what we do is help companies get rid of their unwanted items in a more sustainable and profitable way. So Celia was talking about short-termism and economic pressures, and that's because we are aware of the fact that our clients, that they are not as impact-driven as we may be, that we try to find another incentive, a financial incentive, to accelerate their circular transition. and that is usually a financial one. So basically, we help them either trade their items among the different branches of the same group. So let's say most of us, we are based in Paris, but if we have, let's say, another office, another plant in Strasbourg or in Lyon, instead of wasting something in Paris and purchasing something else in Lyon, we could just trade the unwanted item from Paris and ship it to Lyon. Or otherwise, we can also sell them to employees. So for instance, a regular employee of the company could have their work from home corner using the office chair that he's been sitting on for the past 5 years, and with the same screen that he's been using for the past 5 years. And if that's not applicable, if that's not the case, if they don't want to do that, we also have our own network of qualified B2B buyers that will be more than happy to take these items off their hands. And who will be even more happy, who will be even happier, are the charities that retrieve them as donations in exchange for a tax receipt that allows the company, that makes the company eligible for tax rebates by the end of the year. So by highlighting what's available through a digital solution, we aim at accelerating this process. We aim at making circular economy companies' first choice, in the sense that we are here to make it simple, we are here to make it profitable, we're here to make it smooth. Right now, companies are not doing that, are not reusing stuff. Not because they don't want to, like it's something that us as individuals, we all do. Most people in France, instead of purchasing something on Amazon, they would first look into Le Bon Coin, like on any other second-hand platform. That would be a reflex as an individual. If it's not a reflex as a company, it's not because we don't want to. Like, it's something that is good enough for ourselves. It's something that is good enough for our children. And if it's good enough for our children, it's good enough for a company most of the time. So if companies are not doing that, it's just because it's hard. It's hard, and they just don't want to deal with that. The logistical complexity is something that is not integrated as a mature process yet. There's a lot of stakeholders that are involved. So by highlighting through a digital solution what is available and where it is and when it will be actually shipped, we are trying to simplify the whole process. And we have even integrated artificial intelligence into our platform to simplify those pain points that we could see on our customer journey. So if anybody here has ever tried to sell something online, you will probably agree with me that the absolute worst part of it is to actually create the listing online. Take the picture, find the brand, find the size, write a description, make it appealing to buyers. We have integrated a tool where we just take a picture, the user just has to take a picture or more, push a button, and wait. And the whole description will be automatically filled, so that they just have to sit back, relax, and wait for somebody to buy their products. And that is something that really accelerated the user journey, because within 10 seconds, they can do something that would take them 5 to 10 minutes just to look up the information, especially about the weight, the size of the product, which is something crucial for shipping and for logistics. Most companies don't have a scale in any room. So to weigh a product, sometimes they have to take it to another room or bring a scale to the room where it's stored, which is not something easy. So if we can help our customers accelerate this process, we're more than happy to do so. And innovation and technology helps us do it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. When you talk about that, the first thing I think of is me trying to sell things on Vinted or Facebook Marketplace. And you're totally right. That is definitely the most difficult part of getting it started. You're like, oh, I'll do it later. So it's great that you guys are being able to use like new technology to help a very personal pain point.
Yeah, it is a struggle. We are all aware. I personally have a bunch of stuff at my place that I say, well, one day maybe I will put it online somewhere, and it's been there for a few years now, I think. But yeah, we know that it's a pain point, and we know that although artificial intelligence itself is something that is very resource consuming. We are aware of the fact that it has an impact on the environment. The positive impact that it can have on accelerating a whole business line is something that we are okay in being held accountable for it. We are okay in accelerating the business if that's what it takes.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that. Now I have a question for Camille. Especially being based here in Paris with so many fashion houses, what role do you see as consumers' attitudes, behaviors, or just overall trends play in the success of circular fashion initiatives?
Well, I think consumer behavior is crucial and very central to make circular fashion a success in the long run. Just maybe a little a number so you have a better context. Today in France, 82% of consumers consider sustainability a key purchase criteria. So it's very important for brands to propose sustainable offer. And often secondhand is also an open door to make its first sustainable purchase because it's less expensive compared to sustainable new clothes, and it can be a sustainable purchase. So at the same time, consumers are looking for sustainability, and secondhand is clearly a sustainable choice. But there is one challenge. It's the perception gap, as we can say. There is a perception gap for consumers today because they often associate secondhand with poor quality or hygiene concerns, and sometimes there can be also lack of fashion relevance because they are looking for new, very trendy garments, and it can be hard to find what you are really looking for within a secondhand offer. So this difficulty can be a barrier to adoption for secondhand fashion, especially in the mainstream fashion environment, where people are just used to find anything they want just very quickly. So at CrushOn, what we do to transform this challenge in opportunity and make more clients go for secondhand offers and choose secondhand as a first choice, we propose really curated secondhand garments within our partner shops. We also propose traceable and transparently sourced secondhand because we work with professional secondhand professional people that are sourcing secondhand garments, so they know especially perfectly what year they are, what year it is, what quality it is, if it's fake or not. So it's traceable, and we also have premium retail format, which are aligned with the brand identity we work for. So at CrushOn, we try really to bridge the perception gap through this lever.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Yes, especially when I first moved to Paris, I was a big fan of thrifting. So I definitely understand where you're kind of like going to a million stores trying to find something. So I'm glad that there's some sort of like solution out there now. So yeah, I just kind of want to openly ask questions now, and I feel free for anyone to jump in. 1, 2, 3, everyone can answer. To start, I would love to hear, because I think sometimes we kind of get bogged down with a bunch of either negativity or maybe people aren't really supportive of it. So I'd kind of like to highlight like the positives. Can you share a practical example of a successful circular partnership or collaboration that you have had in your career or in your life or in any shape?
Do you hear me?
Yes. Okay, yeah,
There was
sorry,
a
you can.
disconnection. I don't know.
No, you're good.
All right. I can start maybe to complete what I said. We are working with Kiabi. CrushOn is working with Kiabi. So Kiabi is well known for first-hand fashion. It's one of the biggest actor of first-hand fashion within the industry, and they saw the potential of second-hand very not recently, like at the very beginning of the market, and so we helped them develop more than 120 shops, second-hand shops, with very specific selections that can match the demands of Kiabi consumers. So now Kiabi is one of the first second-hand actor that do both second-hand and first-hand within their shop. So they mixed the two offers, and it's like a lot of success for the consumers that are looking for second-hand, and they can shop at the same time second-hand and first-hand. So it's also a great in-store experience that they develop within their shops. They do it also online. So it's a full experience, full omnichannel experience that we help them develop. So this is a great collaboration that we managed.
Yeah, and where are these stores? Is it here in Paris?
It's in Paris. It's all over France and Belgium.
Ah, cool. And I think, Giulia, did you have something to add on?
Yeah, well, I think all of us, we have very cool success stories about circular economy. I personally share a few with both of them because we get to collaborate. It's not that big of an ecosystem. So whenever we have some secondhand fashion, we usually call CrushOn at some point and ask if they're interested. But if I had to share a positive experience, like a positive project that we have worked on, I would probably say either the one that we are currently working on with the Accor group. So Accor, they are a hotel chain, and they have a very ambitious plan to renovate around 10,000 hotels over the next 5 years. Which is very ambitious, but it means that every time they have to empty one floor before renovating it, they have to basically throw everything out, the beds, the televisions, which is not that virtuous. So we get to collaborate with them and find a second life to these products, either by redispatching them to another hotel. For example, something that comes from a luxury chain could go to a budget hotel, or selling them to their employees. I myself am about to switch apartments, and I'm purchasing everything from the bed to the fridge. And sometimes I would like to have something to purchase from a 5-star hotel, to be honest. And then we also have, of course, our own network of buyers and charities. And that is something that Accor really wanted to, like the charity side, that's something that they really wanted to put the accent on. They want to have a local impact, a social impact. So they are very happy to donate and to give back to the community that supports them every day. So I think that that's really cool. That speaks a lot for the whole corporate social responsibility of the company. So yeah, if I had to choose one major project that I'm proud of, it would be that one, probably.
Yeah, no, that's definitely amazing. I mean, the hotel industry is obviously huge, so I can't even imagine like how much like furniture like multiplied by 100 per hotel.
And I would say the hotel industry, among all of the industries, is probably one that is trying to actually do something towards circular business models. If you go to any hotel right now in the world, probably you will find something that says, be aware that we change the sheets every time, like that we change your towels every time you put them on the floor. So if you don't want to, like, let's act for the environment together. That's the quote. Do not throw your towels on the floor. Or we can find refillable bottles of shampoo, body wash, which is something that is kind of a recent switch. And apparently we are a circular place. We're currently doing a study, a white paper that I will be happy to share with the participants of this webinar in a pre-release. Celia was one of the people that I have personally interviewed a few weeks ago about this for this research. And when it comes to the hotel industry, we can see that about the refillable bottles, that is one feature that customers really are willing to accept. Sometimes they even prefer it to the single-use small bottles because sometimes it's a better quality shampoo. Like we have also this misconception. Camille was talking about misconceptions for quality concerns. That is actually one big challenge in the circular business. But when we're talking about hotels, there's really not such thing as a production of the hotel. So if they can showcase a partnership with a big brand, a cosmetic brand, why not? You know.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I was actually talking with the previous CSO of Accor, and she was talking about all these initiatives that you mentioned, and also one that caught my attention was orange juice. But apparently it could be quite unsustainable. So considering like how they can either limit it or change it in different locations, which I just think like, yeah, the hotel industry is quite interesting that since you brought it up. But yeah, going on to the next question, something that also, Giulia, you reminded me of when you were talking about AI is how you measure impact in your circular initiatives. Because I do believe that it can be either like an economic, it can be like cultural, or maybe just in your team saying like, hey, we had this win because of an event or because we just launched this partnership. So I would kind of love to hear your guys's perspective on that.
We measure impact in several different ways. At first, we measure the financial impact. So how much value we have created for our clients. And by value created, I mean what they earned from the sales, what they get to save with avoided purchases, or what they get to save in taxes. And also, we measure, of course, the environmental impact of our activities. So as something that has been reused, we believe that one product has not been destroyed and another one has not been produced because somebody wanted to get rid of it and somebody else wanted it. So they would have purchased it anyways, probably, and they would have thrown it away. So we take those impacts, we take the life cycle analysis of that product, and we take the production phase, the destruction phase, and we add the transport, because of course, if we want to reuse this pen, I'm currently in Italy, you're currently in Paris, I guess, it probably makes more sense from an environmental point of view to purchase a new pen in Paris rather than sharing this one. Mm-hmm. So that's how we do it, and we have validated this process with the ADEME, which is the French Agency for Sustainable Development, I guess. And we are currently improving it with AI.
Yeah, Celia, Camille, do you have anything to add? Oh, we'll start with you, Celia.
Yes, there were no data as well as at the beginning. There were no legal framework, so there were no data. So we needed to build a model to aggregate the data and trying to understand what was the market size, how many employees are working in the field, what are the projections also that we can think and the potential of the field. And we succeeded in building a first barometer for the whole package, reusable and refill packaging sector in France. I will put in the chat the link to this barometer that we released last year. And this year, we also made another study to quantify the number of employees that we had already in the packaging industry in France and the potential that it can represent, especially if we meet the target that we have in the French law. because we are supposed to reach 10% of reusable packaging across all industries by 2027. And if we meet this target only for FMCG packaging, reusable packaging, then we can create more than 30,000 jobs in France. I will put in the chat the link to our studies that are free, and I really invite you to download them.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
Especially, and just yesterday we had our kickoff meeting to launch a second barometer for the sector that we will release at the beginning of next year, and we will extend the parameter of the study, because at the beginning it was only on FMCG reusable packaging, but we know in France that at the end of the year we will have the EPR scheme that will go into that will be published for professional packaging also. So we will extend the barometer for on-the-go packaging, restoration, and also professional packaging.
Amazing. Camille, did you have something to add?
Yes, maybe besides economical impact, at CrushOn we are also calculating every year our environmental impact. Same that Celia said, we had no data at the beginning, no official data. So when we started calculating our impact, it was in 2020. We had to cross different studies to create our own methodology that we propose now to our partner. So we crossed a study from ADEM, study from Ellen MacArthur, and other official study in order to better understand the impact of what a second-hand garments, what buying a second-hand garments can reduce in terms of raw materials, in terms of water savings, and in terms of CO2 equivalent. So our impact report is public. Our methodology is public. You can download the whole impact report on our website. And what we do is that we help our partners to calculate their own impact. So, for example, we work with Kiabi, as I said, we work with Galeries Lafayette. So we give them the impact of the second-hand shops, garments they sold through our services. And we also help them calculate the replacement tow. I'm looking for the word. The substitution rate. So because it's important to understand if second-hand really has environmental impact, it cannot. It has to substitute a first-hand garment, and it's not always the case. For example, sometimes you can buy more second-hand because it's less expensive, so it's clearly less ecological. So it's important to add this substitution rate in order to really understand the real impact, the real good impact of second-hand within the fashion industry.
Yeah, no, definitely. Especially with, I mean, you guys have all been mentioning data with like CSRD coming. There's so many data points that are needed for reporting that it's amazing that you guys have already started and created some methodologies. Oh, Celia?
Yes, Regina, I was trying to put the links for the reports, but I can't, because in the questions and responses we can only respond, but I don't see where we can type in something.
Ah, interesting. We can, if you send it to us, I'll send it out to all the participants at the end for like a little recap of the call, just so everyone can read up on that. Yeah, so my last question, from me at least, is what do you think is like the future of circularity in your industry, and how do you think like investors, founders, and corporates and government can play a role in that?
Allez.
Yeah.
Our industry is the packaging industry. As I said earlier, we have already targets in France, the famous 10% of reusable packaging by 2027. And also, we just had this year the release of a regulation, a European regulation, which is PPWR, Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation, which is at the moment released, but already negotiated by lobbyists that want to reduce the reuse targets. So the first message that I need to address is that we have laws and we really struggled very much to get those laws, because coming from the private sector, I know that a business won't jump and won't change its business model just because it seems to be the right way to do so. It will do it whether it can earn money, and this is really what we need to work on at the moment to scale up reuse model to make them profitable at scale, or it will change because the law asks him to change. That's why we really work on the legal framework, because we want to give a direction that is applicable for all businesses. And we want that businesses who try, who shift, are earn something and are not punished, and the ones who do not deliver and do not follow are sanctioned. So in this momentum of environmental backlash that everyone earns, it is really important that we do not throw or reduce the ambition of our laws, because to me, it's really our passport for the future. Our resources are finite. We are not being able to produce, to consume, and to throw away like we did for ages. It's unsustainable in this world, that this famous linear model. So if we want to keep producing and consuming, we really must shift to preserving what we create, making reuse, not recycle, the new normal. We will need, of course, to recycle, but this is really the last of the 3 R's, which is inscribed in our environmental code. We need to reduce. This is exactly what Camille was saying. We do need to substitute something that is used and increase our consumption of used goods. This is not the solution. So we really need to reduce first, then reuse and recycle. And what I really noticed is that reuse is much less understood than recycling. People often confuse the two. So what we need now is to create this reuse reflex habit in the political strategies, in the firm and businesses strategies. The current regulatory and financial structures are still overwhelmingly support recycling over reuse, especially in the EPR schemes, even if we have in France now a 5% budget dedicated to reuse. It's not enough to make the model growing more and more. And as it has been said previously, reuse models are more complex and are more cost intensive to implement, especially at early stages before reaching scale. So we need stronger enforcement of existing regulations and support for companies that invest in the transition. This is really my message, because we have so many opportunities to earn. We can have non-offshoreable jobs, local and non-offshoreable jobs. This is really what bring reuse. And also reuse enables us to reduce geopolitical risks linked to our global supply chains. And this is really what we need to understand. That was, I guess, our main message at the Reuse Economy Expo. And that's also why we launched during the exhibition the Paris Call for the reuse economy, because we invite everybody to take action and to join the Paris Call for the reuse economy. It's a collective commitment that we draft from the conferences and everything that has been said during those 2 days to scale up reuse as a key lever for environmental resilience, economic sovereignty, and a more circular future. As I can't put in the chat the link, I really invite everybody who is listening at the moment to go to the website reuseeconomyexpo.com and sign and join our Paris call. That would be really a good start and spread the word.
Yeah, thank you, Celia. So now I'd like to switch to some of the Q&A from the audience. There is one question for Camille, actually, specifically from Giulia. She said it was very interesting. And how do you calculate the substitution rate, by surveying customers or how?
Yes, definitely. It's the brands that must do that. So to each time a consumer that buy a second-hand garments in store or online, they usually upload like a little survey. It can be a quick question with like different type of answers. So what we advise usually is like the question is like, if this item had not been available in second hand, what would you have done? And then you have 5 kind of answers, like from the worst, I would have the best, sorry, I would have bought the same item new, and the worst, and then you have a substitution value. So yeah, it's definitely the brand that has to survey its consumers, and the substitution rates can be different in terms of when it's low price garments and high price garments, usually the substitution rate is lower. And I think you needed to do it every year because consumers' behavior are changing every year, like quickly. So the brand has to do the exercise every year to have a precise substitution rate.
Okay, thank you. Another question in the chat from Harley is, what does the future of circularity look like for those of us trying to be ethical consumers?
That's a very nice question. That's my point of view. But my dream for a circular place would be to be the first choice when it comes to professional purchases, meaning that companies, instead of going for a purchase of a new product, they first check if a circular alternative is available. Circular doesn't necessarily mean secondhand. It can mean refurbished. It can mean eco-designed. It can mean with a longer lifespan. It can mean reusable, as in instead of disposable. And even though right now we are mainly focusing on secondhand, our vision for the long-term future is probably to integrate other types of circularity. Sorry, there was somebody calling me. And as me personally, as an ethic consumer, that's exactly what I do. So instead of purchasing something, I'm currently furbishing an entire apartment, and my goal for this is to not buy anything linear, meaning that if I can find a secondhand solution, that's the best choice. If I can find an eco-designed or good reusable solution, that's still a fair choice. And if I really cannot find an alternative, then that's where I go look for like regular shopping, let's say in a regular store. And I have to say, I'm pretty lucky because I live in Paris, and in Paris, the ecosystem is quite developed. Even in stores, you can have in-store second-hand purchases, which is not some. I know that it's not the norm everywhere in the world, but every bit change, every bit counts. You don't need to be perfect to be an ethical consumer. You just need to think more maybe before clicking on buy now.
Yeah, no, that's a really good takeaway, is that you don't have to be perfect, but at least making some sort of effort. So yeah, we actually have we have time for one more question, and this one is actually going to be from Maggie. She said, how can you see the circular models scaling to the continental and international level?
Very big question there.
Celia, you wanted to say something?
Oh, Celia, you're on mute.
Excuse me, I had trouble with my AirPods. Can you repeat the question?
Maggie asked, how can you see the circular model scaling to the continental and international level?
Standardization to me is really, really key. First having a low vehicle is really a must, and the standardization is really key in our process. And we also need to have a space for digital data. Speaking a common language is really key as well, because we will need to follow up the data from a product to another. For example, if this product has been reused or repaired, we need to know how, when, with which parts, etc. If I'm talking about reusable for packaging, businesses are international now. So when we produce a good, they do not produce it only for the French market, but they produce it for the European market. So for example, if they want to ship the whole production, and we have this cross-border exchanges that happen all the time, we need to have the same format for bottle or for the wine industry with exports. So standardization to me is really a key, as well as data, being able to follow up all the data from the lifespan of a product, a material, or packaging.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
I totally agree, and I just want to add education. Education, whether it is for children or for future managers in business schools, I think that's a very important thing. When circular economy is something that is embedded in the corporate culture and the values of the company, and when it's a top-down strategy, it's much more effective than when it is just non-written feeling that the purchasing team wants to integrate into, because it's part of their own values.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have today. So I would like to thank all of our amazing speakers, and also for all of the audience that took the time to join us today. This event was hosted by Top Tier Impact Europe in France. And for those who may not have met us yet, hello. And also just a quick little recap. Top Tier Impact is a global community of over 1,000 committed leaders over 50 countries, 15 of which are being represented here today, which is really exciting. And we're all working towards a common goal of accelerating the achievement of the SDGs put forth by the UN. And we try to regularly bring together people like founders, investors, and incredible leaders like these here today to help push forward these positive changes. So if you guys liked our session today and would like to continue the conversation, we'd love to connect. And yes, and in the aftermath, we'll be sharing a recording of this webinar, and also the follow-up resources from Celia, so that we can everyone can get some of these barometers and more information and maybe even Giulia's white papers. Once those are posted, we can send those out. But yeah, until then, we hope to stay connected and continue to do the good work and to hopefully make everything more sustainable and more circular together and in the future. So thank you and have a wonderful day, everyone.